Ohio State portal rumors. So Meechie Johnson has come in the big news that happened today is that Roddy Gayle is out at Ohio State. This was news that I posted about, and there were a number of Ohio State fans in my mentions letting me know that what the insiders were saying, and I'm not denying that the insiders were right. I have my own opinions, and I obviously think that sources and things like that are good information. But it seems really, really strange to me, the timing, kind of coincidental, right? Meechie Johnson comes in just yesterday or a day ago, however long it was. It was this week. And then just a day or two later, Roddy Gayle just decides he's out. Now, the reports have been that this has been in the works for about 2 weeks now, that there's been a lot of tampering, a lot of money thrown Roddy Gayle's way. And this was kind of Roddy Gayle's, him saying that he is for sure going to take the bag somewhere else and go, and he didn't really care that Meechie Johnson was coming in. I don't know if he cared that Meechie Johnson was coming in, but I do wonder if perhaps maybe the NIL package for Roddy Gayle wasn't as much because they had to go out and pay Meechie Johnson, who did have a good season so far this year. And then the other piece is Bronny James. Is Bronny James going to cost a pretty NIL penny for them to bring him in? I don't know if he's worth more than Roddy Gayle, considering the season he had. I know that last episode we were talking about he's probably going to the NBA, but now it sounds like he might be going to the transfer portal away from USC. He's not in it yet. That's been misreported by some people. He's not actually in it yet, but that's the rumor, is that he could go in, and looks like his options are Ohio State, Duke, West Virginia, some other teams like that. We'll see what happens. But Evan, what are your thoughts? Let's start with the Meechie Johnson transfer first. What are your thoughts on the Meechie Johnson transfer coming in?
It's gotta be. I mean, is this one of the first times where we've had a kid transfer out of a school to come back to a school? I'm trying to think if anything like that has happened, or at least recently. Yeah,
we had a guy who did that. What was his name? Now I'm forgetting his name offhand. He started as a shooting guard, left, and came back as a point guard. Oh man, I'll think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think I remember who you're talking about, but yeah, I can't remember the name either. Go ahead.
So I do have to wonder: was that just a Holtman thing? Like he didn't like Holtman? Is that why he left? And then he liked Diebler so much that he can't. I don't know. I mean,
rumor is that
the
rumor is, and again, this is rumor.
The
rumor is that he went to Holtman and wanted a bigger piece of the offense. Kind of same thing happened with Luther Muhammad, was the other rumor as well. He was before Meechie Johnson though.
Yeah.
But that was the rumor, is that he went to Holtman and said that he wasn't going to be as big of a part of the offense that Meechie Johnson wanted, so that Meechie Johnson left, and obviously had a lot more usage at South Carolina than he ever had at Ohio State.
Yeah. But no, like what you said, like the Roddy Gayle news, it just seems too coincidental that the fact that they kind of feel like they chose Meechie Johnson over Roddy Gayle. So it's interesting. And then to Bronny, I mean, he's got to go to a Nike school, right? Like there's no chance he goes to anybody else outside of Nike. Maybe a Jordan school, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like when I saw that news, I think I saw that like he did go in the portal, but obviously that's not true yet. Do you think he would obviously cost a pretty penny with NIL, but also like it's just at that point still the name, like his production wasn't there. Obviously, I know he had health issues earlier in the year and all that, so that I'm sure that played a part. But yeah, I'd be curious to see where he goes. You mentioned West Virginia. That's an interesting one. I hadn't heard that one yet. I kind of figured it'd be like a Ohio State, maybe Oregon type battle. But hopefully he can land somewhere where he can actually, have a better production than he did this past year.
Yeah, we have to remember he had that heart issue.
Yeah, so that played a huge part. Yeah.
I never really want to mention that he was, not as good as maybe people thought, because I'm sure that it did impact his season as well. Mike, your thoughts on the addition of Meechie Johnson to Ohio State?
It's been an odyssey for him, right? Garfield Heights, 4-star recruit, goes to Ohio State, quietish couple of years, goes to South Carolina, starts to get better, and then last year kind of explodes, averaging 14 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists a game, second team all SEC. Gamecock's first tournament appearance since 2017. So this seems like a really good get for Ohio State. He gets to come home. He's developed over the course of his career into a very competent and reasonably prolific point guard with a good all-around game. So seems like he should help out the Buckeyes. All I know is he's tried to enter the NBA draft before, though, so just make sure he doesn't do that again.
Yeah, watch out. Watch out. Our guy, Ohio State Hoops Insiders here, OH, I'll give you an IO there, man. Appreciate you being here for this. And Ohio State Hoops Insider is one of the ones saying that, this Roddy Gayle thing is not related to Meechie Johnson. So that's obviously, like I said, that's insider reporting. I have my opinion, which, it is my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But I'm sure everybody has an opinion. But Ohio State Hoops Insider also said that it was not as directly related to NIL as maybe some people think. So it's one of those interesting situations where there's a lot of stuff kind of being said and going on. And at the end of the day, we may never get the full story on what's happening here, but it's very, very interesting to think about. And but I know the thing that people are thinking about more than anything is Bronny James, right? Maybe he's not as good of a player as Roddy Gayle is, but obviously he's going to bring his dad. He's going to bring the brand and everything like that. Evan, I mean, you tell me, would you at your school want somebody like Bronny James? Maybe he's not the best player in the world. Maybe he's not starting caliber, but he is going to kind of demand minutes because of his dad and his brand and stuff like that. But he can also improve, right? He can improve this season,
yeah,
and get better. I mean, would you want a guy like Bronny James at Purdue, thinking about your own school?
I mean, he seems to be a really good kid, which is good. And obviously he's got, the best genes in all of basketball, probably. So the upside's got to be there. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have a problem with it. He seems, like I said, like, I think they do a pretty good job with him. He doesn't seem like he's, at least from what I've seen, I haven't paid attention. I feel like he's not like super entitled. Obviously, he's had the spotlight on him for his entire life, but it seems like he does a good job of not making the game about him. It seems like he's a pretty good team player, so I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, if it means LeBron comes to West Lafayette for a couple games, I'd be down with it.
Yeah, it'd be really, really cool. Mike, your thoughts on Bronny James, and would you want him to be a Minnesota Golden Gopher? Get LeBron James up in Minnesota.
So it's interesting. If he's going to Ohio State, does that mean LeBron's going to the Cavs? Is that the move? It's a young building team. Maybe LeBron goes back for gold for the third time. I don't know. Third time's a charm kind of thing. Like that would be what I was thinking with Bronny James looking at OSU.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I mean, he's a 6'4" guard who doesn't shoot threes and doesn't shoot well from the field, and brings a giant media firestorm with him everywhere he goes. And if he's not a great player, then that media firestorm is going to hang over your program, and endless articles about how he wasn't enough and he wasn't like good old dad and blah, blah, blah. And isn't that really distracting?
Yeah. Like,
do you want to deal with that for a guy who may or may not ever turn out? I don't know. Like, and I don't think it's his fault at all. I don't think it's Bronny's fault at all. But I just think with the amount of media scrutiny that comes with him, if he was more of a sure thing, then yeah, you take it and you go with it. But the fact that he's not a sure thing, I don't know. I mean, Minnesota is a little desperate. I'm sure I would take him. But if I'm if I'm not desperate, then I don't know. I don't know if I want to deal with that media, with that kind of scrutiny.
Philip brings up a good point. Bronny to Ohio State, maybe the home game will finally sell out. Maybe, yes. Ohio State built a NBA size arena, and it's never been sold out. I should say it's never been sold. I have no idea if it's ever been sold out, but typically the attendance is not where Ohio State fans want it to be, and it's not as loud as maybe Ohio State fans would like it to be. I tell you, the best decision they made was during the NIT. They started closing off the. I never went to a game during the NIT, but I heard that they started closing off the upper deck, and so it was a little bit louder because everybody was actually closer to the court. So hey, maybe they keep doing that, and maybe Bronny will have to blow the literally blow the roof off so that we're in the upper deck. Kent's point here, counterpoint. He goes to Illinois. LeBron goes to Chicago. There we go.
As a Bulls fan, I'll take that. Yeah.
Milwaukee and Marquette. Anybody?
There we go.
There we go.